way, you know they're going to be playing hard because Spacestation Gaming, they still have that slim chance of making it to the major. We'll see if it's possible. I mean, I feel like it's a remote chance, right? I feel like there is a high likelihood this ends with Astralis going to the major, but you never know.
I mean, the likelihood was just in that graphic right there. We just saw we saw it already.
It's in Space Station's hands. Like, if they come out here and they dominate, it's them, right? So they've got nobody to blame but themselves. Ultimately, they're the ones at a 3-5 record right now. They've not had the best stage so far, but the amount of overtime games they've managed to push it to have given them this shot here. Beat Astralis, dominate them, and you might have a chance. But otherwise, it's still going to be very tough for Space Station.
Do you remember back when it was that Cyclops versus Team 1 series that we had that even caused a tiebreaker way back at the Mexico Major? Remember when it was Team 1 that specifically had to win in a very specific time frame? They managed to do it, forced a tiebreaker game, and then ended up winning said tiebreaker the first time we ever saw it in Siege history. This is a very similar position for SSG. It's not a matter of just winning outright. If you allow Astralis to get a certain number of rounds on you, you're gone. There's nothing you can do, and you have to allow the results to speak for themselves, but you have to estimate things that Astralis have never seen before. If you have major strats, use it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's do or die, right? And two of the players that are going to help each team do, in theory, are Rampy and Iconic. Two of our MVPs from Stage 2. Now, Iconic did get 2 MVPs, but I will say I feel like Iconic has had bigger highs and lower lows than Rampy across the board.
You're absolutely right, though. Iconic, the only player in the league that has had multiple MVPs. Rampy getting his first last week, Iconic getting his second. But the games that Iconic is not getting MVP in, he's really looking rough in the lobby. Against both Xset and Dark Zero, he was the MVP. He was popping off on Finca. He was able to run around, have some great roaming impact. But then we saw him against teams like Oxygen, against teams like TSM and Parabellum, where he was one of, if not the worst player in the lobby statistically. He's been very hot and cold. Yeah, I know, hot and cold plays for SSG, blah, blah, blah. But genuinely, Iconic has been super hit or miss. Rampy's been a little bit more consistent. I do think he struggled at the start of the stage, specifically on defense. Was getting run over by the roam clear a couple of times we saw at the early part of the stage. But heating up now as we get into the second half. I think that the way that they've been moving him around on the Yana, those Finca bans coming in clutch to allow him to kind of play some other operators, I think have been huge for him. And yeah, I'm excited to see these two go head-to-head.
I will say, too, that these are the two players that look the most irritated in their profile pictures as well. Yeah.
True.
Just look angry.
Just their natural state.
Chill out, guys.
They're focused, dude.
Yeah. Let's talk about Space Station Gaming a little bit here. That's a team that, of course, we know they need to win 7-0. They need to win 7-1 if they want to have a hope of getting to the Berlin Major. And if they don't, and then they still win, then they help Dark Zero get to the Major, which would be kind of wild. That'd be a storyline in itself. And then, of course, if Astralis wins, they just get through. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Space Station in depth. How difficult is it going to be, Jacob, do you think, for them to get the job done, to get the 7-0, to get the 7-1?
I mean, I know that teams usually try to think about winning by the widest margin possible, but sometimes that's not always the case. You're going to have something that slips through the cracks, or somebody will have counter strategy to a point that you don't necessarily estimate, and sometimes it takes a couple of rounds for teams to figure these things out on the fly. Some teams are notorious for those slow starts. I don't necessarily think SSG is one of them, but it is a matter of getting down on themselves early. In the game where we saw Rampy get clobbered in Playday 7, he then had a crazy comeback performance on Clubhouse immediately after, and then I asked him specifically, hey, how did you manage to pull that one off? He said, I never give up on myself. He was definitely down in the game on Playday 7, but that's how he's always been, even though it happened in Mexico because he was underperforming. He's been thinking about himself not performing up to standard for a very long time, and where he holds himself is at one of the highest calibers that you were ever going to see because he's got the reputation to back it up. This entire Space Station team feels like it runs on that same kind of ideology. They all have a lot of experience. None of them are rookies like a lot of the league is seeming to be permeated more and more with. They know the kind of stakes that they have, but the question is, can the amount of experience that they've culminated in all of that intense pressure that they've put themselves under, is that going to boil over, or can they get the job done in explosive fashion right here, right now?
When I think about SSG and I think about strength and weaknesses, the best thing I've seen from them so far throughout the league has been that the pushes have been very adaptable. It seems like they can go against any type of situation and always find success when they're taken. We saw some weird bans when they played against TSM, but they still had good plans. They were still able to make it work. Where SSG struggled has been defense when they're playing in those late rounds, site-focused takes. Sometimes SSG let their opponents take control of their site. They let people in when they really shouldn't, and they struggle to take that site control back. Astralis, on the other hand, hand are not a team that do a lot of site-focused takes. You take a look at a team like Sonics, like Parabellum, that sometimes do kind of make these site-focused takes work. Astralis like their own clears. Astralis like to go a little bit wide on their clear. So when we see Astralis playing the way that they have been, I don't know that that style of take is necessarily going to work super well against an SSG, who have in the past succeeded pretty nicely on the roams.
True enough. Well, let's talk a little bit more in depth about Astralis. On the other side of the arena, this team that went so far at the Charlotte Major, all the way down to the final map of the final game against Dark Zero before losing, now have a chance to get back to the Major again. It's not as clean of a ticket this time around. Last time they definitively made it. This time they need to win in the last match of the series, but this is a squad that can get it done. The question is, can they handle the pressure here at the last moment?
And I mean, we've seen Astralis persevere through tough moments before, right? Obviously, back in Charlotte, they did lose those grand finals, but it was a tough road to get to those grand finals to begin with. They had to play against a lot of other North American teams. They came out on top of nearly all of them. And I think this stage, although it's been a rockier road, they've still shown that they can play against the top inside of North America. I think this is a stage for Astralis that started out kind of weak. They had to play, of course, under a lot of tough circumstances. They had to play call-out on their team for the first game. Then they had to play from home for a little bit, right? They had a player get COVID and everything was really rough for them. But since that first opening kind of couple of games, they really have looked a lot stronger. I think they've done a really good job clearing the roamers, winning the early game. Again, that's something that I don't know if it's going to be as effective against a team like Spacestation, who are also pretty good on that roam, but I do think it's where Astralis have excelled. And on defenses, I feel like it's generally been good, but somewhat iconic reliant. When he's not there, they struggle to trade him when he dies. They struggle to let him, run around and maybe get those frags when he should be popping off a little bit more.
Right.
So if Iconic's not heating up, and you take a game like Beast Coast, right, where it took them a long time to heat up, then it could get very dangerous for Astralis. And they could get to a situation where lose a couple of rounds, have a couple of bad defenses or even takes, and all of a sudden the Major's not in their hands anymore.
Yeah, the thing is, too, I feel like a lot of people forget that they had that rough start, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people look at where Astralis is in Stage 2 and they're like, oh, it's not as good of a stage. But you really do have to think about how it all started and how they kind of had to play with this sort of like being a little bit hamstrung between having the coach play, having to play from home, a little bit of a bout with COVID there at the beginning.
Yep.
And, since then they bounced back. I would say they haven't looked as dominant as they did in Stage 1, but the rest of the league has looked so good, you can't really hold that against them because I don't think it's that Astralis has necessarily taken a step back as much as a lot of other teams in the league have taken a step forward.
Totally.
But it's time to find out what map we're going to. The bans are in, and so we shall see where the final game of stage number 2 will be played. It's not going to be Villa. It's not going to be Clubhouse.
So, Villa's an interesting ban coming through. Astralis have played that map a ton this year. 7 plays this year, 4 wins in Stage 1, and then 2 wins in Stage 2. A very nice ban from SSG. They don't want to let Astralis go to what is probably their favorite map. Skyscraper Chalet. Chalet, another interesting one coming through. That's one where you take a look at Space Station's record, and they're actually quite negative on it. They're on a 4-game losing streak on Chalet. Still, for Astralis, it's a map that, they don't feel like they want to play. They have not played it very much recently. It's not a map that they tend to play very often, so just a comfort ban. Don't want to risk it against an SSG who maybe have been working on it in the background. And then Border and Cafe. Border, the map that these two teams played back in Stage 1, was a 7-5 victory for Astralis. So pretty close, I guess too close for comfort for SSG, who don't want to repeat that losing match. And they're going to walk away without having that in the pool still. Theme Park, Bank, and we end on Oregon.
Again. All right. We love Oregon today.
Our 4th Oregon today, and potentially the 6th Oregon map in a row that Astralis will win. That'll be the stat if they manage to win today. They haven't lost Oregon since last year. 2 wins in the NAL, and then 3 wins against every team in their group down at the major playoffs. Every other team bans this map against Astralis because they're so good at Oregon. But SSG have clearly been prepping. They've clearly been getting ready for it, and they're going to try to take it against the Kings.
So it's a matter of counter-stratting. Do you think SSG has been able to kind of put something together enough to make that happen?
Yeah, I hope so, right? We talk about Space Station as having one of the most resilient and the most advanced support staff in the scene right now. They've got Lycan, of course, a great coach. They've also got Luke and Sov, who do really good work in the back lines as well for this team. They've got a big team helping this team out, going for those counter strats, making sure that the team is ready for a match like this. Lycan is not a coach that loses very many map ban phases. So obviously they have a plan for this, but I'm just excited to see what it is.
Me too. And you know what? That means it's time. It's time for predictions. That's right, we're gonna have to put our money where our mouth is. Or not really, there's no money. Our invisible pride currency, I guess. But that's what we gotta decide. First, we're gonna send it over to our casters, Intero, Pengu, standing by one final time this stage, gentlemen. What will the picks be?
Well, first we were on a boat.
Now we're standing.
Now we're standing.
But we are actually.
But we're
sitting.
We're sitting.
There's no
You are
proof of
sitting.
that.
I can see behind the desk.
I
You're both
can
sitting
proof of
right
that.
now.
I'm wearing jorts right now, so I'm
He's
not
not
exactly
lying.
keen to stand up. I'm wearing jorts.
He is wearing jorts.
I'll say
A
that.
light
pale
blue
legs.
jorts.
They're not that bad.
I have pants on. Show my knee.
I mean, well, jorts are pants too. They're just shameful pants.
Short pants.
Oh, I meant short. That's
Predictions
Yes.
to drag us back.
Yes. Drag us back to the standing
topic.
desk.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
I think Astralis and Oregon have looked phenomenal at the major, for example, the UNI cast. I think they are very capable of their 1v1s, their aggression. I think if Iconic shows up, it's an AST win. If Iconic has a really hard time, could be close, could be SSG, but my heart says Astralis.
I gotta see a stronger stage from SSG
Yes.
before I can start giving the nod to them in situations like this. I think Astralis has proven themselves. I think Astralis are hungry. Astralis are at their best when they play with a chip on their shoulder, and coming in against an SSG team with their major on the line, they also have an opportunity to knock DZ out. Like, how cool would that be if you're Astralis to know that you prevent
True.
DZ from making it to the major? I gotta go with Astralis.
All right, so 2 for Astralis. We'll check back in with our casters in just a moment as the map begins. That means it's down to us. Now, Jacob had to step away for a moment, but Jesse, what do you got for this prediction?
See, I think I like the way that SSG match up against Astralis. Again, I think that the way that they defend is not going to necessarily be exploited by Astralis the way it has been against some teams. And SSG are starting on defense on Oregon, which is a defender-sided map. So if SSG want that 7-0, 7-1, this is a path to it. Certainly those advantages are there in the early game. They're just going to Oregon where Astralis are so good. I'm sticking SSG anyways. I don't care. We'll go.
Wow.
I'll send it. I was gonna pick SG before this game started, and I'm not gonna
Spicy.
let that map ban phase change it for me. Let's go for Space Station, and for their case, I hope it's at least a 7-1, but might be DZ going to the major instead. We'll see.
Going crazy with the picks here. All right. Meanwhile, we got Jacob just off camera here. Shout your prediction to me. What do you got? Astralis for Jacob. All right, so that's a lot of picks for Astralis. Meanwhile, the coin, let's see what it has to choose. It's going to be heads, Space Station, tails, Astralis. A big flip to end the stage, and it's heads. The coin says Space Station Gaming coming in for a bit of revenge. I mean, because by the same token, although Astralis could knock out both Space Station and DZ, Space Station could knock out both Astralis and DZ if they get it done with the 7-0, 7-1. So what is sweeter? That's the question. Another question we have to answer is our community poll. Let's see what it, actually with a fan vote. Astralis, obviously.
Wow.
Community poll. What's it gonna be? We'll find out in just a moment. It is, who's having a silent ride home tonight? Space Station or Astralis? That's basically just also asking who's gonna lose. Unless maybe if you win and have like a meditative sort of like, kind of bring down the emotions a little bit, calm yourself so you can get a good night of sleep. It could be an option too.
If SSG win and it's like, a 7-3 though, I think that'll still be a pretty quiet ride home. That's not the result they need. So it could
You're
be
not
both.
wrong.
You could both be right.
That's true. Well, we'll see who takes it. Only moments until we get started with the final map of Stage 2 that will decide which of 3 teams, Astralis, Space Station, or Dark Zero, will take the final spot for North America at the Berlin Major. You don't want to miss this one. Rainbow Six North American League will be back right after this.
I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me a notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, Sipping more for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubble still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bare face. Now he's got a hell behind the water's cold case. I wake up with pain sometime and never go away. Wonder why I bow down to my knees when I pray. In my city gritty, gotta keep it on your waist. Or you might be a victim, they'll find you DOA. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you.
Find those targets to retrieve trip. There's Forrest to walk right in and get the final kill.
Beast Coast did give us a hard time today. It's what we expected. It definitely pushed us today than we wanted to. They put up a good fight, but in the end, we just kind of played our game again and beat them. Based off like the outside view of looking into Berlin and before the match, we don't think about it at all. You know, we're just trying to play one match at a time, and you know, whatever happens, happens. All we want is just to win that day. That's all. I think if we don't make the Berlin Major, it's because of how competitive NAL is right now, and also like we had a pretty rough start. We only had like a better latter half in the beginning.
Downed, just disrespect.
That is disgusting. What a display of disrespect between peers. Astralis win their second in a row. They're one round away from pulling off the unthinkable, which is a comeback to push overtime. Final matchup of the day, final matchup of stage number 2, and the final team to secure their spot in the Berlin Major.
Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me a Coca-Cola.
You don't drink Coca-Cola, Park.
That's because I'm diabetic, but you owe me a Coca-Cola Zero or Diet Coca-Cola.
Thank you.
Or
I wouldn't want to kill you.
whoever
No.
our sponsors are, you owe me a diet version of whatever that is. I'm Ataro. I'm joined by Pengu. We are going to be signing off this broadcast at the tail end of this matchup, and then we will be back in a couple months for stage 3.
True.
But before we get there, Space Station has a very, very, very small chance of making it to the Berlin Major, a Doki-sized chance, if we can use it as a unit of measurement. Astralis has a very good chance. Yeah. Dark Zero also has a chance depending on what happens here. Look at that at the bottom of your screen. If Astralis wins, no matter what, if Astralis wins, they go to the Major. They will join XSET, Sonics, and OXG as the 4th team to represent North America for Space Station. They only have a 13% chance in regulation. Why? Because the criteria is that they must not give up more than 2 rounds. If they win 7-1, as far as I'm aware, they go to the Berlin Major.
Yeah.
If they win 7-0, they go to the Berlin Major.
Yeah.
If they lose 7-3,
They
out.
don't go.
DZ goes. So if Space Station wins 7-3, it's mutually assured destruction. Neither they nor Astralis will go to the Major. It's the defending champs.
Oh.
That's quite the interesting ban there. Zofia removed from action as we now get underway with our 4th Oregon matchup of the day. We hope you like the Pacific Northwest.
Because
Even though, have you ever actually looked around at the scenery of Oregon? It does not look like it's set in the Pacific Northwest. It looks like it's set in Waco. I wonder why. Because it almost seems like it was based off of Waco, Texas. I'm no geographer.
No, that's the fault. You play GeoGuessr all the time, so you kind of are, actually.
I'm actually platinum in GeoGuessr.
That sounds so sweaty, but I'm actually plat ranking, guessing areas in the world.
So people will say, "Oh, you're just a gold." Not in GeoGuessr, I'm not. Checkmate.
All right.
Don't know if we're going to have a rehost here.
Nah, we gotta pick
Apparently
around.
somebody crashed. Who knows? Let's talk about the operator bans.
Well, we had a little bit of a Flores Valkyrie from the side of Astralis and a Sophia, which is very peculiar because normally when you ban an LMG operator, you ban out the finger. So the Sophia ban is very specific in this case. That's going to go out from SSG and followed up by the Wamaya. We're actually going to jump into a quick rehost, it
Called
seems. You did call it.
Called it.
And honestly, better to do it now than before we get into the action, so we can get all that out of the way and just keep on rolling once we get back into the server. So just a minute, we'll be back. Operator bans, as I said, a little bit of a target ban from SSG, pretty standard stuff from Astralis. Flores, of course, being utilized very heavily. We saw that earlier today from Dark Zero. You can just clear out a ton of utility if you need to, and that being off the board means that attacking becomes a little bit harder.
Just a little bit.
A little bit harder.
Just a little bit harder.
Also means basement's pretty strong here. You know, you got the Goyo, you got the shields, you just don't have the Wamai as a defender, so you're not going to be super duper safe from grenades, but you got the Rooney Boonies and the Jaeger Bakers, and you'll be okay.
What did you call them?
Jaeger ADSs and Aruni Gates.
You called them something else.
I called them a cute version of them. So I called them Aruni Boonies and Jaeger something. Jaeger Bakers? Was that what I said? Bakers? Jaeger's Bakers. I think that's what I said. It's safe by the belt. Hey.
Bamboozled. I honestly don't know. First defense for Space Station. Downstairs, laundry, supply room. The two bomb sites that you're going to see most frequently here will be on the basement, laundry, supply room, and then back up top on the double dorm bomb site.
They got Aruni and they got the Jaeger. I was not half wrong. Just, you know.
I should hope with all of the experience that you have that you would not be wrong, but who am I?
Everyone is wrong once in a while, Parker.
That's correct.
Everybody's wrong. Unless you're Fabian. You're never wrong.
Okay.
Fabian's...
He likes to think he's never wrong.
Have you seen the UL desk when he's there sometimes? And he's
I try not to.
Okay, well, I'll tell you that he kind of uses his position to kind of talk bad about other teams and then say, but I could make them better if I joined their team, kind of vibe, you know? Is that fair? To utilize your position? Would you do that, Parker? Would you try and get on a team like that? Or do you feel like you just don't have a chance to join a team like that?
Are you seriously asking me if...
You could be a player. If you try.
I don't think we need to go through this again.
All right, whatever.
30 seconds into action. First, EE1D is burned. Take a look at the lineup on the right side of your screen. Lion, Ash, Nook, and Finka. This is a strange one. We don't see Ash as frequently as we used to.
There's Sophia ban might target that. You want that soft explosion in the basement. And of course, that's a bit of a substitute from Sophia. But a worse one at that, because you don't get the LMG, don't get the stun, so it is clear. It's okay.
I mean, Ash is not exactly the best substitute for Zofia, but she works in a pinch. The two used to be almost interchangeable at one point in the meta.
That's true. Oh my god. It's a long time ago, actually.
Very long time ago.
Now we got Finka instead.
Anywho. It's the first can opener, the secondary soft destruction or hard destruction gadget that gets brought. You can see that Astralis are absent to traditional hard breacher. A lot of teams will run one of 3 operators who have access to that secondary hard breach gadget. And Iconic starts things off. A good game from him is what you said is needed for Astralis to prevail. A nade goes out and it destroys full. Space Station suffering the first casualty of the round and of the match.
And it's early because now they got all 2 hatches opened up and they got the opening kill. It's only a minute and 30 into the round. That's a great start. Now Astralis can take it a little bit slower because they got that advantage, right? They don't want to throw that away. Of course, Bosco is on smoke. You do have some traps from the Thorn that they can slow you down as well. But overall, Astralis have a ton of time to work with. Now, there's a Rooney Gate on Blue Double Door. They only have 1 flashbang left to really clear it efficiently. So that is going to be a bit of an issue. But at the same time, that's not the main push because Iconic, he's on site.
Oh my goodness, LMG in hand, tearing right through them. Rampy the first kill for Space Station, but that's all that SSG is able to get up to this point. Unless Bosco can do something about it. No, Iconic, the king himself, finds 3. And the last one for good measure. Astralis take round number 1, and that is bad for SSG. They lose one more round, and they are out skis. That's it.
That's a rough... I mean, Iconic literally just walked in from bottom laundry stairs and got well, he got 2 kills, he got a nade kill earlier, so sitting on 3 already, and it was an off kind of beat push because SSG, they weren't expecting it, and no one else, like anywhere else on the map, really applied too much pressure. So a really, really good push, or opportunity rather, seen from Astralis. They took advantage, it worked out, and already now we're gonna see that secondary bomb set of Kid Storm defense because we're not gonna go back to the basement after what just happened. That was way too difficult to deal with. So instead, a rather similar lineup being brought here. Of course, the Mute to deny the walls, and Ward in case of any smoke grenades or Ying Candela usage, which J9O, he has a Tagger repick currently onto that Ying operator, so both teams kind of reading well into the situation of what the other team might do.
Well, rough spot to be in for if you're Space Station. You have such a small window of opportunity to make it to Berlin. SSG have not had the best result at international events over the last calendar year.
No,
You think,
not quite.
Yeah, you think back on it, and it was...
The furthest they go is quarters.
Yeah, they cannot seem to break out of that 8th place hump, which I get it. Like, you can't get over that hump. It's not exactly a bad result. I mean, if you consistently told me that you were a top... I think we talked about this on a previous broadcast. If you consistently told me that, you know, we're going to finish top 8, that's great.
That is good.
You, out of every single team in the world, statistically, you are the 8th best team. At worst, obviously, because there's 4 of you that are going to finish 8th.
True.
You are statistically the 8th best team. That is actually great. But for these players and for these organizations, and for, frankly, the roster that Space Station has, 8th is not good enough. So they need to make it there. SSG did not make it to Charlotte. They didn't have the best performance at SI in Stockholm, and now it doesn't look like they're going to make it either unless a miracle can happen over the next 7 rounds.
That is true, but anything is, of course, possible. Slow start once again as teams are taking their time, not really trying to get too aggressive on these engagements. Aggressive style here from SSG, opting for that trophy kind of master bedroom contestation, but they're going to peel off as those shields start falling off and their protected areas start becoming vulnerable. Astralis, they are applying pressure from 2 sides right now. Master bedroom balcony and big tower as well. So they are choosing right now where they want to strike from, because currently SSG can only guess where that's going to be, because you're opening up all these windows, applying this pressure, opening up attic wall. Now you're going small tower to go below kitchen for verticality possibly. Astralis are really just trying to apply pressure from every angle possible.
A bomb has been located.
A multi-pronged approach, some would say here, Nick. Look at the lineup from Astralis again. Hard breacher list. Can opener being brought from the Ying. Already both have been used. They had them on the hands of the Nook last time around. So I like what's being brought from Astralis. 1 minute to go. Not a single casualty. Not a single death. Not even a little bit of action. In fact, a little bit of a boring round.
Oh, it's about to go fast very soon. Just wait. Iconic goes in bottom white. You got Candela's out. Smokes, you go in 10 seconds time. It's going to be chaos.
But look at Fultz from below. He's going to be kingmaker. Down goes Hot and Cold. Trying to defend towards big window. Fultz is still waiting for the vault on it, and there it is. A shotgun blast takes out J9O. Bosco credit with the kill. Another from Astralis will come on in. It's Bosco down as Astralis continues to find their marks. Iconic lets one slip by, but he's got other avenues if he needs to deal with them. Shot through the wall, gives himself a relatively easy death at the hands of Skies. While the diffuser is down, SSG are in some serious trouble. It's all left onto the shoulders of Rampy in a 1v3. This is it. This is your trip to Berlin. Rampy, can you clutch it out and win for your team? Or is that it for this stage? He's got a beat on them. Swings on, but no, that's it for Space Station's chances. 2-0 for Astralis. Bye-bye, Berlin. It's now down to 2 teams. Astralis will fight for their lives. It's DZ to watch on the sidelines and see what exactly happens in this matchup, as Space Station have now been mathematically eliminated from making it to the major.
Yeah, that was a bit of a rough round to watch, because I believe a player of SSG actually ended up
Hot
crashing.
and Cold crashed right as it began.
Sami was like running in place, and of course we don't know if that's gonna, like, what would have happened if that didn't happen, but it looked like Iconic was just gonna walk on in regardless and get that kill. But either way, if you're Space Station, knowing that's like your shot at the major, that's gonna suck regardless of what you think may or may not have happened. And we're just gonna investigate really quickly with a tech pause to make sure that it doesn't happen again before we get right back into the server. But you are correct. This means that either Astralis goes to the major, or if SSG wins, that Dark Zero can still go. So that's really all the options, or the outcomes rather, they are right now.
All right.
All right.
possibly get them back in. Game is paused. I don't know exactly what's going on with Hot and Cold. You can see that there is a couple folks there doing tech support with him. 3 people. Don't know if they're provided by the league. I know Larch is there, but the other 2 could be just employed by the Esports Arena in Las Vegas. A heartbreaking end to the stage for Space Station as they now need to carry out the rest of the mission, which is either beat Astralis and give DZ an opportunity to make it to the major, or just simply roll over. And you have effectively allowed Astralis to get revenge on the team that bested them in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Obviously not very happy about that round, and honestly, I don't blame them. That was a weak start for a Space Station, but I don't want to say that in that exact context because Astralis brought some very inventive tools and played their entry perfectly through those 2 rounds in order to counter the offsite play of Space Station.
No, Astralis definitely did do a good job. Like, we can't take anything away from that. The rotations, applying pressure from like 3 to 4 different angles, getting with diffuser, Iconic, of course, finding the opening entry, etc., doing really good work with the finger. And then the post plan as well was played rather safe in that 3 versus 1 scenario. Rambi only allowed to get 1 kill. Then the post plan was played safer after the fact, and therefore, of course, they also got the round. So Astralis are doing good at what they usually do good at, and now we are, I don't want to say we're dancing, but we're flailing our arms a little bit. There we go. That's a dance right there.
They're wild waving, arm flailing, inflatable tube men, I believe, is what the official terminology is from Family Guy.
Oh my God.
What they're really doing is they're getting the blood flowing. If you are watching this at home and you have not been mobile for the last little while, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to get up and I want you to do 5 jumping jacks. If you can't do 5 jumping jacks, that's okay. Maybe just wave your arms around 2. Maybe get up, stretch your leg, get some water. If you're watching on a TV or a speaker system, hopefully you're still able to hear our voices from wherever your water or beverage of choice should be. Maybe you want some hot tea, something that we drink right now, but maybe start the wave with your family. Not entirely certain. This is an unusually long tech pause. I don't know exactly what has befallen the computer of Hot and Cold, but it is...
Yeah, it's gotten ill. It's got the common cold.
Oh, it's a little under the weather.
So we're gonna pat its head, rub its back, get a little heating pad, and get right back up to speed. That's the plan, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you are...
Iconic.
What?
He's having a great old time, that's all. I think it's, whenever you're finding yourself in a tech pulse like this, from both sides, it obviously sucks, right? Astralis, they got momentum, they're winning rounds, they're doing good. SSG, they're getting crushed. Like, that sucks. But if you can keep the vibes up, have a good time, and not really let it get to you, and just like start round 3 when this gets resolved, like nothing happened, you're in a great position because tilt is something that can get to you, and you're like, oh my God, a break, why can't we play, what's going on, what's taking so long, etc. It can really break your mental, you know, from now until the 3rd round starts. That's not what you want, and that's why I like Seeker and Charlotte, just kind of having fun with one another.
I mean, why not? What else is there to do?
Complain.
Here?
That's the thing. You can complain or you can be happy, right? That's pretty much all there is to do.
Are they allowed to have their phones on the stage? That's the real question.
I believe that we had negative. At least back in my day, that was a negative.
It appears that we are doing an amputation of the monitor.
Oh.
Uncold has a replacement screen there now being brought on in. They will do some surgery.
Cord out, cord in, and then turn off, turn...
Breaking news from production, they are indeed swapping out the monitor.
Nice. Good. Hopefully, Hot and Cold's happy with that too. Because, you know, sometimes you can get really attached to how you position your monitor, and then you gotta get it ripped away from you, you gotta redo it again.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing. Some players, you spoke of Doki earlier, some players, they actually would like tape their setup, and they will like calculate like the angles and like the distance. There was a player, I forgot who, doing invitationals, I believe, who brought out like an actual measurement tape, and he would measure like the distance from the table edge to like where he wanted his keyboard and his mouse and monitor and stuff. And it was a whole process, and it took a while to get done. But when he finished it, he was like, he knew exactly where things were, and they were gonna be where he wanted them to be. And in a way, I respect that kind of precision in your job. I do.
Well, this is the, as I talked about, this is the amputation here. Don't know.
No, you know that, I'm sure you've played this game because you're older than I am, but you know that game where it's like you're a doctor and you got like a magnetic guy?
It's called Operation, and yes, I played it.
See, I knew you'd know it. It's kind of like that.
Well, it was more the gesture that you did that wasn't shown here
Okay.
on the screen.
I was just trying to stir some memories from my own childhood, thinking that I was pretty bad at that game, but it was pretty fun. Gotta have steady hands. And I feel like when you're a kid, when you have imagination, you're like, oh my god, my patience not gonna make it.
Yeah, you know what? It's because you got a weird bone inside you, and we just got to get it out without touching the outside and have the metal go when you hit it wrong. While we are filling the time needed to get Hot and Cold's PC back up and running, you are probably wondering what is going on with the Berlin Major. You might not have heard about it. We've only talked about it about roughly 10,000 times so far in the broadcast today. There are one spot remaining, and there are two teams now officially in the hunt. Spacestation mathematically eliminated from making it to the Berlin Major. So now it's down to Astralis versus Dark Zero. DZ wins into the Major if Spacestation wins in overtime or in regulation. As you can see, Astralis must win the match in order to go alongside XSET, Sonics, and OXG.
Yes.
If Astralis loses in overtime or in regulation, Dark Zero will be the team to go to the Major. So basically, Astralis win, you're in. Lose, you're out. It's that simple, and that's the math that we're working off of right now. If you're a fan of Dark Zero and their beautiful space-esque jerseys, never maybe more relevant than the images that have been shared from NASA of the new Cosmos. I know you've been seeing that.
Yep.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah. It really makes you wonder, like, there is so much more stuff out there.
I mean, I just see those photos and I'm like, more MacBook wallpapers,
Oh my
more backgrounds for your iPhone. You know, of course, just waiting for Apple to take them and use them.
True.
But at the same time, those beautiful jerseys from Dark Zero might be present. Instead, Astralis will have an opportunity for revenge. They lost the Charlotte Major to Dark Zero, and now Astralis can eliminate DZ officially from the Berlin Major sweepstakes.
You're correct about that. It's a bit of a shame we don't get to see both Astralis and Dark Zero there, because a matchup in like semis would be kind of cool. At the same time, I don't mind NA having an arguably like weaker chance of winning a major, because Europe's got to get back on top, baby. We're kind of down bad in recent time. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're struggling out here.
I don't know what's going on. And the look, Larch with the, I don't know what it is. Something's gone wrong.
Something's fishy. We are still looking into it.
I mean, these teams might not play again until the Berlin Major's over. So, I mean, at this
Okay. Okay.
it's a joke. It's a joke. They will be back playing very shortly. But in the interim, while more diagnostic work is done on this PC situation, we're not going to waste your time. We're going to throw to a break. We'll be back in, well, I don't have a time limit for you. But whenever it's done, we'll be back when it's done. See you then.
Best believe it, ask for it, you receive it. Dollars coming, let me see it. Multi-million, I'm a bid. On the mission, best believe it, ask for it, you receive it.
I'm dipping the corner in something imported. I'm copping the land of the sand where the shore is beautiful. Women who time in the mirror to show up the shows and see me perform this. Used to ignore me, I'm all the day here, but I used to be timid. I don't know what fear is, just taught at my dog and he told me he got me. I hopped up the line and went straight to go get it. I got us. Building this up out of mortar and brick. The way that it's going, I don't see it ending. The pigment is tinted. I'm really that. Go figure. Tapped into a higher power, feeling bigger than me. It's centering me. My enemy silent, they see that I'm fire, can't put my energy. I got some real ones on my sideline, abiding by them guidelines. I'm way up near the skyline. You so barely fine, right? Only kings around me, all this go now why I shine bright. Yeah, you hella fine, right? Hey, you looking like the wine and dine type. I'm basking in that limelight. Brody, get your chip stack. I'll teach you. I'm the wise guy. I'm getting right back that shit I'm sending out with vibe wise. You know we good on this side.
I feel a black power. Dollars coming, let me see it. On the mission. mission, best believe it. Ask for it, you receive it. Dollars coming, let me see it. Ask for it, you receive it.
Like glue, the leather stuck on me. I wanna move. And you, yeah, they all want a piece of me. Everyone in the crowd wanna feel it, they wanna be me. Thought I would make it big. Now I got all the gold, but I need to be free. And you all want a part of it. Maybe my tears fresh, I see it when I work it and you look at it. All the stars in the sky. All the money can buy. All the stars in the sky. All the money can buy.
might rent the Lambo and go drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me the notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I was sipping Moet for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubbles still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bare face. Now he's gotta help behind the water's cold case. I wake up with pain sometime and never go away. Wonder why I bow down to my knees when I pray. In my city gritty, gotta keep it on your waist. Or you might be a victim, they'll find you DOA. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you.
You said hello and I lost my control in just one tiny second. You do to me what I've seen in the movies, but this really happening. My mind explodes. I can feel my bones shaking to the beat of my bleeding heart. An overload. Don't know how this goes, but I'm pretty sure you just made my world stop. I can't believe my eyes when I get close to you, close to you, close to you. So pretty I could die. I can't be close to you, close to you, close to you, close to you. Close to you, close to you, close to you. Close to you, close to you, close to you. My walls are down, they've been burned to the ground by the voice of an angel. Don't say a word before someone gets hurt, it's just too much to handle. My mind explodes, I can feel my bones shaking to the beat of my bleeding heart. An overload, don't know how this goes, but I'm pretty sure you just made my world stop. I can't believe my eyes when I get close to you, close to you, close to you. So pretty I could die. I can't be close to you, close to you, close to you, close to you. Close to you, close to you, close to you. Close to you, close to you, close to you. If you're as perfect under the surface, I don't know what I will do. 'Cause I can't believe my eyes when I
Parabellum's strategy for their offense hasn't really been working.
Trip gets the second plant now down, though. They've missed the position of it. Kool-Aid's going to be able to surprise. He swings out. He gets the first kill for free. Does he get the second as well? No, Surf will be able to deny it. And that's going to be Beast Coast completing a massive comeback down all the way from 0-4, winning it in regulation.
After the Beast Coast loss, we really needed to refine our identity. I mean, you don't lose to Beast Coast and then come out the week happy. So our play has become a lot more straightforward. It's not as much playmaking. It helps me call more. Like after the Beast Coast game, we've kind of changed up a lot. Our pacing's different. Like a lot of things are different. If people want to keep thinking we're this brain dead aggressive team, I mean, let them do that. They can play scared the entire round. We'll just wait. I mean, competing has been my dream ever since I started playing Siege. NAL is one thing, but being able to compete against names you've seen all across the world for 5+ years is something that is just, it's a dream of mine. The entire atmosphere around majors is perfect. I don't know, I just love competing and, I mean, making events.
Welcome to Looking for Tomas, the unique approach to finding the perfect team match for pro players in the NAL.
Yo, how's it going? I'm Tommy, call me T-Dog, Mr. Break Your Heart, 421, because we keep it clean around here. Look at these trees, man. I got a pot with a pot on it. I like nature.
Will teams be graced with Tommy's skill and charm? Here's how he feels about each of the candidates.
We got oxygen first up. All they do is drop at Gucci, man. You know me, I dress for less. If you know, you know. All right, man, now we got Beast Coast. Drip, I got bigger muscles than you. I can't be carrying y'all, yeah. Now we got Astralis. Man, there can only be one person with a suit over there. Call out, I'm calling you out. I look better in a suit, brother. Except we had history, but like I can't go back. They got a one-trick smoke. Imagine if he gets banned. I just see the message from DZ. DZ, you cute, but you got a small house, man. You think that backyard is big enough for me? I need one double size bigger. I'm the big dog. Bonjour, Parabellum. I speak better Francois than all of y'all. Est-ce que je peux aller aux toilettes, s'il vous plaît? Oui, oui? Sonics. See your message. Honestly, you're just not good for me. Next. Oh, yes. You a dime, plus 99, and it's a shame. You don't even know what you're worth, baby. Come to think of it, keep the banana. Ooh, SSG. Jeez. I remember y'all in y'all glory days. Y'all want me? I need 4 of the World Championship players on the team. I only accept excellence. Hottin, skedaddle. Whoa. Raj, we're both adults. Yeah, I might have left or got dropped. We left on good terms. But man, you want me? Second chance? Really? All right, listen. You've always been a 6. You want me, you gotta be a 7.
Oh my.
The desk. We spent a good couple days together. I love and miss you, you big, round, voluptuous circle. Listen, even though we spent a good couple days, and I might have went around the circle like 4 or 5 times, I skipped a couple heartbeats. And it's not because, you know, I'm a big guy. I found my true love. I already love and miss her. But listen, I'm open for opportunities. Hit my lineup, Mr. Break Your Heart, 421 on AOL.
I don't think I've seen that content yet, and I gotta say, it's fantastic.
I was loving it. It's like watching his like small like soap opera, like I don't know, TV show. It was great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Thomas is looking for team, I suppose, looking for opportunities, whatever you'd like. Just as we are looking to get ourselves back into this matchup, and it seems we have succeeded. We have succeeded! Space Station unsuccessful on their 2 rounds, and because of that, their major chances are gone. So now they will play Spoiler to see if they can actually knock out Astralis. Now, it's not exactly an easy task. They just shut down AST, or Astralis goes to the major. The last 2 teams fighting for the spot. Astralis and Dark Zero, in case you weren't paying attention during that break.
Yup. We see the roam set up here. We saw this earlier as well from.
What's that? What's that? Yup.
Yup.
Yup. What is that?
Yup, dude. I'm just trying to say, I like this from SSG Parker, okay? I'm like, yup, like it. Cast the barricades, keep the barriers to deny lines of sight and make the attacking life a lot harder. But look at this lineup and look where Astralis are spawning. Backside on construction with Amaro going in big tower, you can assume. Meaning that we're going for a backside take, baby. And it's going to be Forest on the Nook. Bit of an interesting one here in Oregon basement because there's only really one way into sight that's down a staircase. Of course, there are multiple of those, but still. kill. We go in and we get taken down because Rambi is there. Either no drone from Astralis, or they knew there was a guy there, but just did not care. And that's going to cost you, because that means you're playing with one man down. Forrest, you're dead too.
Oh, Fultz on the roam. Takes him down, as you said. Goodbye to Forrest. Astralis, much better entry on the first 2 rounds. Space Station finding this 5th gear at probably the worst time possible after having just watched their stage go up in smoke. Still, well off-site. Both Skies and Fultz playing together by small tower. There's a player in. Look at this. Wrong side, though. Instead, we'll break the door.
No way.
There's no way Iconic doesn't drone this out. A grenade goes in. J90 with 1. The follow-up not there. Skies was still down below, as far as I'm aware. Will they hold this angle, or will they retreat? This is a laundry supply defense. By the way, this is the basement, Nick, and all the action is happening by small tower. Very similar to what we saw out of the first Oregon match that you and I casted earlier in the day of DZ versus Mirage.
Yep. You're all right. We did see this earlier today, and it's a 4th Oregon game, so it's easy to get things mixed up at this point because, of course, teams, they do play differently, but you can only do so many things different when it comes to like the default setup, like where the jammers go, the barricades, the setup, etc. It all looks similar, but of course, every team has their own bit of flair. Rambi hiding in Armory, just waiting for the right opportunity, while the rest of his team, they hide on site. Because Astralis, well, it's Gen and Shuttle, rather, just 2 members. They gotta do all the work now. Droning, walking in, entering, trading, getting kills, and trying to clutch out this round for their team. And they have wandered across the entirety of the map at this point, and they're back where it all began, on the big tower side of things. Got a 50 seconds to work with. They got a nade, and that's about it. And that's gonna be the 3, 2, 1, go kind of vibe here. As they drop down the hatch, see what they can do. Not much, gets shut down, leaves Shuttle in a 1 versus 4, has to get some damage in, but cannot find it. Nourish from 11, has got pistol secondary now because Sledge got nerfed. He's gonna get taken out. Honeycomb claps and says, good job, boys, good job.
Oh.
Yeah, it's getting personal over there.
He looks pissed, man.
Furious and angry. SSG are on the board, a little bit late for their liking, but they are on the board regardless, and they can still fight to win this.
Oh. Dorms again, first defense win by SSG under their belt on to the bottom floor bomb site, as you talked about. Teams living and dying off of the roam. 6-pick means that you can, or attacker repick, means that you can basically assemble your lineup to be the best counter to what you see on defense. That's why you see a lot of these teams on defense play so loose around the map, because just as W7M revolutionized in LATAM, the best team in LATAM, and dare I say it, honestly, probably one of the best teams in the world at the moment.
Yeah, supposedly it would be, yeah.
W7M basically took this trend and said, okay, well, we're going to play offense on defense. And it's worked out very effectively for them, and it's obviously working out for a lot of the teams in NAL who've emulated that. Space Station knows a thing or two about defining a meta on defense. The Clubhouse defense jumps to mind.
Yep.
In that previous round, SSG placed a lot of their pieces over towards dorms and inside of dining. They greeted the members of Astralis, who seemingly did not spawn in with drones.
No, it went in dry, and it did not work out. Did not have any information to work with. Ying being attacker repick despite the Warden being on the board. And we've seen this big tower situation before. It was Canadian last time in the defense, holding on strong, and he got some good value out of Mirage. Skies, however, will just bail at the sound of that Ying weapon firing on all cylinders and give up big tower. So Astralis applying pressure on both fronts here. Front side, master bedroom balcony, as well as big tower under pressure. J90 does have that secondary hard breach can opener. He can open up the attic wall, unless, of course, there's a mute jammer, then he needs assistance from below.
I like what we're seeing, though, out of these Astralis takes with no dedicated hard breacher. Again, running with a secondary hard breach in the hands of J90. No, I can't believe Iconic just got that.
Jesus.
He Kobe's in a nade as far as it'll go, and Bosco is no more. The first pick goes to Astralis on what was one hell of a toss.
That is like, I mean, if you're standing there to defend anything, I'm safe, this is fine, and then all of a sudden, you're just gone. That's what happens when you got no Wamai and no Jaeger on the board. Those Runic Gauge do not really work in that particular situation, and that's going to be an Astralis in the driver's seat with that open and kill, and that's going to be a very important one because it's smoke of all operators that got taken out, right? Now you've bought yourself 30 seconds extra on the clock as an attacker because those toxic babes are no longer in play to stop you in your tracks. force or slow you down. Iconic, same thing as last time, just rushed up that wide staircase.
And he's one hit away now as Hot and Cold puts it right back and actually denies the entry back in. Hot and Cold swings around as Skies finds SSG's first pick. One for Houghton as well. Iconic has made his way through the top of White Stairs, but he's losing his teammates left and right. It's him and DP Fire, just DP Fire left now as Space Station finding a way back into this matchup. That's the top floor. The first two attempts at these bomb sites did not work out well, but unless DP Fire pulls off probably the best clutch of his career, it'll be a 2-2 for SSG. Indeed it is. Rampy makes destiny become reality. And it's a tie game. An unfortunate start for SSG cost them a chance at the major. They're now playing essentially for bragging rights and to stop Astralis from making it themselves.
It does appear like SSG are really trying at this, Like, it seems like they want to try and get the victory and either deny Astralis the satisfaction or just thinking that, you know what, we're going to end this on a W and show that we have indeed improved over the course of this stage. Regardless, SSG in that last round, really good hold. The crossfires, very well established. Every single moment where Astralis was pushing in one direction, there was two members of SSG ready to fight together, and that's why they managed to get back all those kills and put themselves in a great position. Now it's tied up 2-2 as round number 5 starts. Tertiary bomb site is on the table, and of course, it is going to be the meeting variant, not the dining. Normally, this is the case, so nothing out of the ordinary. And we also have the community vote. Who's having a silent ride home tonight? Space Station or Astralis? Jesse pointed out, well, very close, relatively close actually. But if SSG were to win, then both teams might have a silent ride home because then Dark Zero are going to be going to the major.
That is a very good point. Space Station cannot make it themselves, so now they effectively play to end Astralis' opportunity. And there was a part of me that wondered, if SSG cannot get it done, do they care at all about whether it's Astralis or Dark Zero?
Yeah, I had the same question, but given how they're playing right now, either they don't know that they're out, or they just want to end on a victory and take that away from Astralis. Either way, it looks like SSG, they're trying to win.
As should be the case, by the way.
As should be the case.
Sounds silly to say, but that is very true, that it should be the case. Astralis have flirted with that hard breacher-less lineup for so long. Now it's Forest to take on the more traditional mantle, as there's no secondary hard breach gadget to be found in the lot of them. DP Fire on the Ying will bring smokes, as will the Twitch of Iconic. Get Iconic off of the Finka, give him to J9O. This is a much more standard style of lineup, I would say. Maybe I spoke too soon, by the way. Disco Dance Party, Candelas go off. Nobody can see a damn thing. Iconic, the very first kill. Rampy down next to Forest. Astralis taking no prisoners whatsoever, but neither is Bosco. Still inside of Attic, but he's trapped right now. There's no way out. That's a great question. I have no clue what's happening either, Nick. Oh, no. Oh, no. Bosco, it happens again! They throw a grenade, and he catches it, maybe not willingly, but it's in his hands either way. That's the whole point of the game of Hot Potato, and Bosco was an unwitting participant. Skies left alive. This has been the story for SSG over the last couple play days. Skies put in a position to get a couple exit kills, but that's it. Right now playing by flag, by split, whatever you'd like to call it, against the 4 players of Astralis with over a minute to go. Skies gets droned out, has to reposition, losing some gadgetry in the process. From stage, he rotates. Those are 2 very good rounds from SSG, but it looks like, well, I mean, it looks like the magic might end, and indeed it does. Hard to control the SMG-11. DP Fire has no problems with his LMG. The Ying gets the final kill, and Astralis goes up 3-2.
3-2 indeed. And that was, again, like a very, very well-executed round from Astralis. Just the pure aggression and trusting in the teamwork, just walking in on through, taking Attic control. The Candelas actually did so much value. They're blinding pretty much every single member of SSG, and the timings of those blinds were crazy because when Bosco came from the flank, well, the moment he got the first kill, he got blinded, had to run back through Attic because he couldn't see anything, and that just made his life so much harder. Now we're going to go back downstairs, and that is, of course, where SSG, they had a bit more success. See if they can do it one more time. This is the last round for the defending side for SSG, unless, of course, it goes all the way to overtime. Ideally, Space Station wants to go 3-3 even split, which, given how things started off for Astralis, would be a phenomenal way to end the half.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like for a moment that the, you want to say, hopes of Astralis were fading. Spacestation was really fired up on those 2 rounds. But then, as it always happens on a map like Oregon, you go to that 3rd bomb site,
Yep.
and it's not 3 times the charm. Laundry downstairs, dorms above, far easier to hold on to than that meeting defense, and certainly more than we find a lot of teams on dining and kitchen as well. So the final defense for Space Station will go to a bomb site they've already gone to twice, lost once, won once. It's Laundry Supply down below. EU1D was burned very early by DP Fire. I don't know if the purpose was to try and get an early roam pick. Maybe they saw something they liked on drone, but it isn't successful at all. No damage done to anybody by Space Station.
Sitting tight, waiting, droning out the roam game here, expecting SSG to be creeping around somewhere on the map, but it's a pretty generic basement staircase hold where we're looking for a drone or 2, falling back down the staircase, maybe kill another and fall back to the side. It's a good way to stall time and buy a few, kill a few drones, but you're not really going to have any map control in this regard. That means that SSG, they're preferring the bomb site itself. That's where they want the fight to happen. And if you look at the attack and lineup from Astralis, they don't have a Ying, they don't have any smoke grenades. They're actually not in the greatest position to do much in the basement attack itself, besides just purely gunning it out, which, fortunately for Astralis, they're very good at. It's what they've been doing most of the round so far. It's what they're known for, generally speaking, also the Charlotte Major where they got to the Grand Finals. So this shouldn't be a tall task for Astralis, but it's definitely not going to be easy either.
Going with a more traditional lineup again with this hard breacher in play, but the problem is the Electric Claws will be something they have to deal with. Flores is banned out. Thatcher is not, yet Thatcher has not been present for Astralis at all. So they can't really get rid of the Electric Claw as easily as they would have liked. Instead, they will have to go through blue to likely take care of it unless a grenade can be tossed in that direction. Right now, it doesn't seem like anybody's assembled over in that part of the map. Instead, still figuring out what's going on the main floor. Even if you do go towards blue, where now 3 players from Astralis have very quickly moved over to, you got hot and cold as your main impediment, and you can stop some of those X-Kairos from going down. Space Station, the very first kill. Can they add to that tally? Not yet. They certainly can't. Astralis sweeps right through, and just like that, SSG have lost 2 players. Bosco will contend against the Hordes as they rush in towards Elbow, but he's got 1 on his left, he's got 1 on his right. Sky's a second kill with a Nitro Cell, goes out onto Forest. Fultz from above, sees the Lion, easily dispatches DP Fire. Now it's just down to the anchors on the bomb site for the remaining players from Astralis. 25 seconds left for Shuttle and J90 to get in. Shuttle's in, but he hasn't done much. A beautiful shot on the skies. That's a reward for the 2 kills they had earlier on. Bosco next one up. Gets swung by Shuttle. He's hitting every single target. Suddenly, Astralis have found themselves in a very winnable position. It's Fultz in a 1v2. He's got marks. He can soften them up, but J90's a better shot. Astralis were in the danger zone, but they pilot their way out of it, and the first half goes to them 4-2.
That is disgusting from his shots. Without those shots, I don't think they win that round, but they were found, multiple of those indeed. And Fultz a nice flank as well here, had a big impact, but look at this. Shuttle gets 1, then he found a second, just leaving Fultz last man standing, had to come back to site after getting that flank inside a meeting room. And it almost as if the meeting hatch was open and Fultz's flank had more impact, but at the same time, the reason for all the things that happened was because it was the hatch was kited, and the attackers did indeed not manage to break it open. And that's going to mean that SSG needs to show up massive on their attack in half, because a 2-4 scoreline is not a great position to be in. Now, SSG target banned the Sophia, the target banned the Wamai. This, I don't believe, is going to impact SSG themselves much at all. They are bringing the Maverick right now in Skies. That's going to give you 2 grenades, and you can deal with the Kite Claws if a Kite is being brought. Whereas if you play the Thatcher, sure, it's faster, more efficient, if you will, but you only really get the EMPs in terms of utility, which means that you do miss out on those 2 grenades, which SSG, they like to nades from below, they like using nades in general. I think this is a wise choice for them. It is peculiar to me that they go from Jackal to Ace last second from Fultz, because now you bring in triple Heartbreach for a basement attack with a heavy roam presence from Astralis, which we should know, especially with the drone phase and attacker repick, that they're doing. Jackal here would have been very, very good, but let's see what they can do about it regardless.
Zazami roam that has become very common on Oregon will present itself from Astralis. Again, you use those Kibas to give yourself mobile cover over inside of Dining Hall. Easily thrown off.
Good night.
What an incredible shot by J90 that was. Fultz didn't even see it coming. All the while, Fultz was still able to get those Selmas off, so some value from his death.
Jesus. That's a montage shot right there. Look at this one-way angle as well.
And another.
Breach. Oh, days. J90, you beautiful man.
Rampy will give some credit towards that as Astralis are starting off this defense very effectively. 2 picks and on to arguably the 2 hottest players from Spacestation. Not in terms of looks, in terms of ability, Rampy and Fultz. I make no judgment on their physical appearance.
They're all sexy though, if you ask me.
All right. I go back to that super tweet. Why does every member of Space Station look the same but in a different font? And I think that's very funny. Either way, get maybe more jokes from Super as he's qualified for Berlin. Yeah. Astralis are a couple rounds away. They must win, so simply getting to 6 rounds for Astralis is not going to get it done. They need to seal the deal either in regulation or overtime. Space Station only really had those 2 good rounds in the middle of the first half. After that, they've gone back to their old, somewhat inconsistent style of play, I think you could call it.
Yeah, I would say so. All depends as well, because I feel like playstyle nowadays also depends on matchup. Like if you play like a very passive team, then you can't necessarily do what you normally do, vice versa with aggression. So I think a big skill right now in Rainbow Six Siege at this level of play is being able to adapt your own playstyle slightly to your opponent's playstyles that you match well against. Because if you play really unstructured and lose against a very structured team, you might get caught off guard with crossfires and whatnot. So slight variation in gameplay is necessary, of course, but the baseline has to be solid. 40 seconds left, 3v5, SSG. They really need this round, but they're not in a great spot to get it.
Consolidated inside of the bomb site. All 5 players still upright. Space Station's advance looking like it'll come towards Freezer, but J90 is there, ready to defend it, defend his team's honor. Not for longer, and certainly not for more, as a grenade from Skies will flush him out. Explosives getting tossed on in, that'll be the Banshee taken out as well. So Forrest will send out a toxic gas canister to slow that advance. Through the smoke that he himself had created, down goes Hot and Cold. Skies dealt with inside of Freezer, a chilling end with Forrest. Pulling out the shotgun, and a do-si-do gets 2 kills for Astralis to give them their very first round on defense.
That entire round, like every kill that happened was so satisfying because you had the 1-tap from J90 into the 1-way from J90, then that triple kill right there from Forrest as well. Extremely satisfying 5 kills from Astralis, I would say. Very nice. And that now means that SSG, like, now it's getting tough. Now it's round 8, we're down 2-5. Of course, things can always turn around. We gotta take the Kid Storm's bomb site next. And we need this right here to go our way. Once you stare down the barrel that is match point, that's when life gets really tricky. No more room for mistakes, not once, not ever. And Astralis being a clutch team, knowing that they can do what they do and they're desperately needed to do it, that's not where you want to be. And it's ironic because Space Station used to be arguably the most clutch team in the world, or at the very least in North America. But this stage, it hasn't really been their story. It's been Astralis kind of taken away from them in Stage 1 and Stage 2, and at the Charlotte Major. They're the team to clutch it up, do the impossible time and time again.
Sleep on Astralis because it has been such a close stage for every single North American team. And frankly, I don't even know who the favorites from NA would be going into this major. I think it's safe to say that based on what we've witnessed from all of the regions, North America is probably still the favorite. But I do look at LATAM as very close to being even. LATAM has had its own upheaval, too. Yes. A lot of the favorites are not going to make it. Liquid, for example, will not be present at the major. They did not qualify for CES. They're not going to have a fighting shot. Nope. There's been a lot of changes. Black Dragons and W7M, who are still newer teams, will be the ones fighting for it. It is a shame that we weren't able to see the potential from W7M at Charlotte, but as far as I'm aware, unless visa troubles befall them again, they'll be present in Berlin, providing they qualify, of course, because they have not yet. And
they have not?
No, I mean, they're going to CES, but they got to win their way.
I thought they were qualified, actually.
No LATAM teams are qualified. They're qualified for CES.
Okay.
They are not qualified for Berlin.
And then CES qualifies you for the thing.
Yes,
Okay.
That's correct.
I see.
The Copa Elite 6, yes. CES, as people know. Either way, that's about LATAM. Right now, Astralis are 2 rounds away from making it to Berlin. That will solidify the 4 teams from North America. It's been hot play from a lot of individual players. No real poor performances from Astralis in their respective roles so far. Great game from J9O, I think, is what's been propelling Astralis forwards after Iconic had those first 2 great rounds.
Well, you're right. Shots are taking turns having their great moments, and it's a decent round so far. So on round 8, time is really slipping away from SSG. They just got that attic breach open up. Bosco working on the master bedroom side as well. So it's a multi-pressure attack from Space Station, hitting both sides at once here. That means the Astralis, they gotta figure out which guns are gonna go in which directions. And with all these soft ones out of attic, J9O's position in particular can be very hard to play correctly. Now he does have 2 keeper barriers in his pocket. He can deny lines of sight, and that's gonna help in the situation. But other than that, look at his crossfire. Nice damage from Shuttle. It doesn't do a whole lot of his fingers on the board, but 45 seconds left to go. SSG clocks against you.
You just have to have good coordination from Shuttle. That's the big thing, and he's just a bit too hesitant on where to engage. Bosco makes quick work of him. First kill for Space Station. Things will heat up with the 30 seconds left on the clock right now. J9O in a bad spot. He pops up to take the engagement towards Trophy. He dies. So instead, engaging onto the Maverick, and J9O in attic finds 2 kills. Another could be lined up. And there it is, a third for him. A 4th towards the armory door, but he loses out. Clock strikes midnight on that Cinderella story. It's Fultz now in a 1v2. Match point from Astralis to be had from Iconic. 2 kills for the King. Suddenly, 1 round away for Berlin for Astralis.
J9O, disgusting now. 2 rounds in a row, just takes his team on his back and just carries them and threw it in the gutter. And I mean, he was feeling himself. You know, that 3rd kill, lost that gunfight, but look at this. The 180-degree flake, gets it, hops on the ground, gets the 3rd kill afterwards. Then, of course, lost the 4th engagement, but still, what a nice save. And I said it in that round. Astralis, so clutch right now, has been so clutch since they kind of reshaped their performance in their roster. And they're looking like they're in a very good position for the major. 1 round away now. As we're at 2-6 match point, territory bomb side, and this is the big difference maker. It's not going to be meeting kitchen like we've seen all throughout today, basically. It's going to be that kitchen dining bomb site, which really struggles against the likes of Hibana, which Bosco right now is showing. Sure, Iconic got the mirror, you can do some stuff with that. But the Hibana is going to make the small tower tag much more accessible. Fultz is a tanker repeating onto glass, and it's very important to note because that's going to be their execution-based operator. The reason why glass is so important, because the entirety of the A bomb site that you see right now is very open. You can't really plant anywhere safely, but with the glass and with the OSA, you're giving yourself 2 different opportunities to plant inside the A bomb site if you want to, and you can still even go for a B bomb site attack by taking meeting control and breaching the walls. However, look at the spawn position, it's probably going to be a small tower attack. So J9O, all eyes on you, my friend. You're extending up into a small tower. You have no real support. You've done it 2 rounds in a row, getting multiple kills in a crucial position. This is your 3rd time to do it. You are in a crucial position. Everyone's gunning for you. All 5 members are going to try and get you down.
Oh, you said it right. All these eyes are going to be on him. And I mean, the MX Storm can be a little bit tough to control, as you see with those 2 drones that skirt by. In this do-or-die position. No way out. We talk about playing to die, and that has never been more evident, as it looks like a nade is going to be primed and ready with J9O's name on it, but he takes the engagement either way. Down goes the shield. 10 kills to his name. Droned out yet again. Still trapped, but he's wasted a minute of SSG's time. SSG cannot afford to let it go, and Bosco jumps in. J9O stops him. Another one will follow up. Same position. Cannot win it. DP Fire 1 as Rampy trades it out. SSG still at a disadvantage, though. And the other thing, too, is that Space Station have not flushed out these players who are not too far off of that dining kitchen bomb site. Still set up inside a small tower. This is where SSG can settle in with half of the round to go.
They lost the glass and the Hibana, actually like 2 of the most important operators. Of course, OSA is still on the board, so that is very good for SSG. That's going to be the big win condition. 2 smoke grenades, and of course the OSA shields that deny lines of sight. You can essentially walk in here, try and get the plant down. The thing is, DP Fire has 2 impact grenades. Forest has 3 toxic babes. That is more than the defenders need to deal with these OSA shields and the smoke grenades. So as long as DP Fire is in a position, and of course staying alive to utilize impact grenades, they should be in a good spot to deal with this piece of utility.
A little bit of damage done to Iconic and DP Fire, but other than that, they can sit quite pretty. One Adrenal Surge for Rampy will get him back to full HP, as he'd taken some damage earlier on. That's a good 40 seconds that have now been burned, and Space Station will herald their entry, but Rampy finds another door awaiting him. Fires away, Iconic answers it. Astralis are 2 kills away. That's all they need to find. Space Station had that good burst in the middle of round number 2, or round number 3 and 4, the first half, but other than that, it's been all Astralis. They've been all business, and they have 30 seconds to wait it out. That's it. Space Station waiting patiently. Astralis getting a little restless. Forest peaks. A kill from Skies comes in. 3 more to be found. He also sets up a shield. Skies working in a bathroom. He's found his way, an opening. To do more damage right now as the Azami is there. Outdueling DP Fire is not a possibility. So instead it's Hot and Cold, the newest pickup, and he's no more. One of the newest pickups can't do it. Iconic seals the deal. 2 good rounds from Space Station is all they get. It's a Berlin trip for Astralis. That means DZ doesn't go, Nick. Astralis, Sonics, Xset, OXG, the 4 teams to represent North America at the Berlin Major are all set.
Yep, but there's more. Apparently, with this outcome, Astralis is back in first place.
Wow.
I believe I read earlier on Twitter that they could have been first or they could have been like 8th today based off the results. Very big gap because NAL is so tight in competition, but somehow they finished first place. I don't want to say somehow because they're not playing bad, but like no one thought that big of a swing was going to happen in the final play of NAL, I don't think.
Well, that would mean that OXG finishes 3rd, the top 4 for you. Astralis, Sonics, OXG, Xset. Those are your top 4, and Astralis will win their 2nd stage in a row. Keep in mind that when it comes to these results, in terms of the major, not the end of the world whether you finish 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I mean, obviously that does matter to a certain extent, but the big thing here is 6 invitational points. Astralis' performance in stage 1 at the Charlotte Major and now in stage 2 puts them in an amazing spot, and it's hard to imagine them not being able to go to SI next year. So kudos to Astralis, and what a performance that was. Space Station, like I said, in the first half had a good performance. Those 2 rounds, that was all she wrote. It was all Astralis all day, and they go to the major because of it. That's it for you and I, this stage. That's it for our matches for this stage. But before we leave and say goodbye, well, we've got a desk to break things down. But before that, a break. See what I did there? You thought we were going to the desk, not this time. Sit tight, we'll be back in just a minute.
Through dripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Blow make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us, red run when I tell a peace. Love is love. Love is love. Adios. Bendo with the switch again. Boy deliver like he happening. Core with digits, give him estimates. Somersaults for my Benjamins. I got what you need, baby. Skirt the Chevy, make a scene, baby. LABB been the team, baby. Big big papa, word to G, baby, look. Labs till I'm finished, had a handful of lemons through the hand. Got a bag, now the hands in the business. For my hand, it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I've been playing with the minutes that they been shoulda gave. And I'm flipping every digit that they been shoulda paid. Had to find a way to get it, know this isn't what you made. If I ever wanna dip, then I'm brink with the blade. And I'm brinking a blink on the brink of some dumb shit. Watch how I move, cause I know the brink's coming. Watch for the blues, cause I know that they dumping. Nothing in my view, so it's hush on discussion. Hush on discussions, you know what you need to. I keep it in.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Rainbow Six North American League. We have our final team decided. Astralis is going to the Berlin Major. That's right, Doa Jesse Jacob here with you at the desk. We know all 4 teams now, and one of the representatives from our 4th and final team going to Berlin is waiting to chat with us over in Las Vegas. It's none other than Iconic, of course, from Team Astralis. Who else would it be? Congratulations, Iconic, on getting back to the major again, getting it done against Space Station Gaming. How big is it for you to have a chance to go back to the major, rectify what went wrong at the very end of Charlotte?
I mean, obviously it's a big part because of, just losing that grand final, just straight fuel to the fire. So, we're going out there hungry.
Good to hear.
Iconic, I want to ask you about the map that you guys ended up on here today, because you ended up on Oregon, one of your favorite maps. Would you say it's your guys' strongest map so far throughout the map pool with this current roster? And regardless if it's your favorite or not, what do you think about this map makes it so strong for you? Because I believe this is 6 wins in a row for you guys on Oregon.
I think it's just a map that fits our play style well, and we just have a good feel on the map, and we're just comfortable on it, honestly. Like, we like in my opinion, I like all the maps in the pool, so I really don't care what we play.
You guys are like legitimately one of my favorite teams to watch just because the vibes always feel like they're so high. I saw you guys laughing and cackling and everything on the sides, especially like during the tech pause and everything. But you had a bit of a hard stage to get here in the first place because it was a rough start. How do you keep such a high mental even while some things don't necessarily go your way?
It's all about just remaining in the process. And, we have a great group of guys here. We all love each other. We work hard with each other day in and day out. So we know if we're pushing each other to the best of our capabilities each day in and out in practice, we're going to be better than everyone else in this league. So I think that's it.
Fair enough. Well, I got one more quick question before we let you go. I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked Kino after XSET's game earlier today. Looking ahead to that major in Berlin, is there any team from another region in particular that you hope you're going to be able to run into?
First off, just out of just love for the Wolves, can't wait to play those guys because they're doing really well right now. Shout out to them.
Cool.
Love all of them. And then just like as a rivalry, I want to play BDS again. So, yeah.
All right. I think BDS on a lot of people's lists, it sounds like. So hopefully you'll get that shot. Until then, though, thanks again for stopping by and chatting with us. Congrats on the win, and good luck with the practice for Berlin.
All right, thank you. Thank you. You guys have a good one.
You too. There you go. One more time, Iconic from Astralis, and it was an iconic performance from the team in general with that 7-2 victory over Space Station Gaming. They are going to the Berlin Major. Space Station, they needed to win it 7-0, 7-1 to go themselves. Anything less than that would be a dark 0 spot in the major, and I don't think they were too keen on that either way, but any way you slice it, Astralis the better team today.
Yeah, I think those first 2 rounds, the most important to steal that momentum away from Space Station. Iconic was a big reason why they won both those rounds, got both of the opening picks through rounds 1 and 2, really did have a great job kind of rushing through the site and having the impact down on Laundry, went back upstairs and found the opening into the Dorm's bomb site. However unfortunate that round ended up being. Nice play from Iconic. Obviously 11-4, you can't be too upset about that. Almost a 90% cost. He's had a great stage. Again, ups and downs, but all in all, finished out very strongly.
So good to see this from the Astralis core, especially after the rough start that they had. I'm very, very worried about Spacestation. I think I've said that a couple of times. I don't really know what you do going forward from this point. You were fodder for a lot of different teams so far. As far as this stage is concerned, which is not a place that you yourself are accustomed to being in, I think Astralis were very well poised. They kept their composure. They understood we need a massive win streak. We need like a lot of things to go our way in quick succession. They found that. They created their own opportunities and they excelled when push came to shove, to a point where they now jump back into first place overall. Remember back when they were struggling, middling like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th even? Somehow they claw their way back and they are the #1 seed. They have won 2 straight NAL stages, and they didn't have nearly as hard or as easy of a way back into it in stage 2. So congratulations to Astralis for what is an incredible achievement.
Impressive performance, and you got to wonder what's going to happen at that major without Dark Zero standing in their way now. One wonders. A lot of other good teams are going to be there, though, too, so we'll have to wait and see.